Are you looking to buy an antique home in the Metro West area of Greater Boston? I sell homes all over Metro West, including antiques, and I actually live in a Victorian right here in Wellesley. I've had buyers that have found me via YouTube ask me specifically if that could help find an antique home for them to purchase. So in this video, I'm going to share some recent sales of some Victorians and Victorian era homes in Greater Boston and share my comments on some of the price ranges, the neighborhoods, and what I see when I look at these listings. So I hope you enjoy. I'm Jane. My channel is all about helping you relocate to Greater Boston, specifically the Metro West area. And I hope you'll subscribe, as each week we put out a new video featuring a different price point, different community, and some fun things you should know about living in Massachusetts. And if you are thinking about moving, please reach out. I've been so delighted to have buyers tell me that my videos have been helpful. They're planning a relocation and could I help them? And the answer is usually 100% yes. The first house we're going to talk about is 34 Everest Street in Natick. It's actually South Natick, so I'm going to show you really quick where we are on the map. So we're looking at homes that are antiques between 1.5 and 2.5 million that sold in the last several months, middle of the year of 2024. We're going to look at Wellesley, Newton, and Natick. In these towns, Natick is the lower price point because it's a little further away from Boston, and the school system is not as highly rated as Newton and Wellesley. Your dollar goes a little bit further, but what I wanted to show you is that it is a main road. So a lot of times with antiques, you will find that they were built on the main road. You know, back in the 1800s, it was actually easier to be close to the road. The farmland would be behind you. So a lot of times, even in South Natick, you'll see antiques, some smaller antiques, really close to the road. So Everett is a main road. So to pull out even a little bit more, if you're coming out of Boston, Natick is almost a direct shot west. You're looking at a 40-minute to an hour drive for commute, but South Natick is very pretty. Okay, so we're gonna hop into the house. I just love this house. It had outbuildings, it has a pond. A lot of renovations have been done, so it was in great shape. And it just sold on my birthday, August 29th of 2024. So it's a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, about 4,000 square feet. It sold for 1.7. You can see that, I mean, this is just gorgeous. This beautiful stonework and the detached garage. It describes it as having pastoral views, which is exactly what you have. Because it's close to the front of the house is close to the street, a lot of acreage behind and views to check out. Plus this fun little cottage, which hopefully we'll dive in there too. So one of the things that I thought was cool about the main house was that they kept these exposed beams from the 1870s. I love that they incorporated that into the decor, and I guarantee those are real beams, not fake. Now here's a kitchen that we like to say now in 2024, natural wood tones are coming back with a vengeance. A couple years ago, we would have been like, oh, gotta put a coat of white paint on this kitchen. Natural wood tones is coming back. You know, it's nice with the hardwood. I might update the countertops and maybe do a higher backsplash, but overall it's a very pretty kitchen. Now here's another example of how you can update an older home. So these are the same beams as those unpainted ones that you see, but here, you know, when they're painted, they just recess right into the ceiling. They did a kind of a clever way to hang this light by putting some kind of beam here. This is kind of fun. This is almost like a ladder that you can access the attic. I had one of my friends at work also had a Victorian years ago that she sold, and when they did this gut renovation, one of the things they did was take out all the staircases and replace them with ones that were up to code because they were quite steep. Now, not this steep, but this is like obviously going to the attic. But a lot of times with antiques, that's one thing you'll find is that the stairs are almost too steep. So if you have the space, it's great to modify them to a modern standard. And you might not know this, but building codes actually have a formula to prevent people from trying to squish a staircase into a tight space. There's actually specific measurements that it has to meet and to be at a certain grade, which is good for when you're buying or selling your house. So here's a nice view of the patio and the deck. Really beautiful outdoor space. So this house was great fun and just under 1.7. So now we're going to travel east to Newton, and Newton is a city of about 80,000 divided into 13 villages. Each village has its own personality. Some of the town centers are smaller than others, and I've done quite a few videos about different things about Newton. One thing to know is it's very close to Boston. School system's outstanding. It's beautiful, lots of green space, but it's a highly rated school system. You're paying top dollar to live in Newton. Now, there's a ton of antiques of every price point. We're specifically targeting on 1.5 to 2.5. So this house was on for 1.950 and sold a little over asking at 1.970. Really pretty house. I just love all this detail with the stucco. So this house was actually built in 1910. So technically still a Victorian, though we're moving towards the arts and crafts phase. So you're still going to see a lot of detail. So the Victorians love to put frosting on the cake, love to do some colors, love the contrasting detail. I would imagine that all of these windows, everything's original except for the storm door, which kind of takes the romance away, but obviously it's nice to have a storm door. One of the things that I just love about these old homes is when people have kept the old millwork and detail and moldings, and look how pretty this is from the inside. And this is kind of sweet. A lot of times you'll see an open staircase. You have to think about in the Victorian era, there was probably a servant to open the door and greet you, and that's why you usually had a small parlor. This is the place you would sit and wait to see whoever you've gone to see. Victorians liked a lot of small rooms with taller ceilings. Of course, now all we want to do is rip down all the walls and make everything open. There's a fine balance. This is pretty. The dining room has this nice built-in, which is actually kind of like a butler's pantry with a mantle. So, maybe that was a fireplace once upon a time. I don't think so, but it could have been the way it's shaped and the fact that it's an actual mantle. Now, interestingly, this kitchen needs an update for sure. So honestly, if this had fabulous kitchens and baths in Newton, it would have sold over $2 million. I mean, this is actually a pretty good sized house for the price. I can tell by looking at it. Well, actually, I can tell from this countertop, this was done in the 80s. This is a classic 80s Korean cover with the oak trim. Absolutely time for a refresh. And again, once upon a time, I'm sure this was a full wall. Somewhere along the way, probably in the 80s, they said, hey, let's open this up so you can actually see into the dining area. This is kind of cool. Once upon a time, this was probably an exterior porch. So someone enclosed it with some pretty cool detail. Or maybe it was like a screened porch. These beams are beautiful and the arch, and but this tile floor and the way the windows are, you can see that this was not a finished or enclosed space or a heated space, but someone along the way has added it into the main living. So it's definitely 3-season. It does not have heat. And then here you are in your bedroom, and look how pretty the windows are. And isn't it romantic to have that nice fireplace? And then I like this photo very much because it shows a lot of detail. A lot of times bedroom pictures to show a bedroom, but this shows you the beautiful windows. You see that you've got a closet, you've got this beautiful fireplace, and you get a peek into the hallway to see the turned stair with a beautiful banister and balusters. This is a good sized bath. Again, maybe time for a facelift, maybe a soaking tub instead of a jet tub, but there's always some way for me to help you spend your money. Up on the 3rd floor, and very often you'll see a nicely pretty finished space on the 3rd floor because that is where the servants lived. And I'm sure it was god-awful hot there in the summer. When you look out the back door, it opened to this beautiful deck. Totally works for the way we live our lives these days. They've opened up some rooms, everything's comfy, not too big, and open up to this beautiful deck for dining, for grilling. Here's another view of the back. Kind of hard to figure out what's what there. And look, a little stream on the property. So this is 1/3 of an acre. So for Newton, that's a pretty good size lot. Definitely, it's a city. So you definitely notice that the lots are smaller compared to when you get out to the more suburban, like Natick is a great example. Definitely larger lots there. So now we're gonna go into my hometown of Wellesley. This house is just so adorable. I'm kind of cheating. It's 1936. So I guess we could call it arts and crafts, but it is a cape and it's on Spruce Park, and it was listed by my friend Christine Norcross at Ravis. It could not be cuter. It sold for $1.9 million, but the price per square foot was $786. Yikes! And it was only 3 beds, 2.5 baths, 2,400 square feet on 1/3 of an acre. Okay, so why did this house go so wildly over asking? It's a terrific neighborhood. I can walk there from my house. It's walk to town, walk to the train. There's a cute little coffee shop almost at the end of the road, but it's on this tiny little little circle. It is the cutest little cul-de-sac right off Laurel Ave. So Laurel Ave comes off Washington. So then you turn down Spruce Park and there's just a few homes there. And then there's the brook path and there's an actual brook and a path. It's just this beautiful, I'm going to even show you the Google map, might even give you an idea. So here it is on this little cul-de-sac. So just really pretty. You would never know that you're 5 minutes from the Wellesley Hills train station. So this is a cape, and we've talked about style before. These are dormers to give you a little extra light. This is a slate roof, but I have to tell you what the original price was. So 6 Spruce Park was on the market for $1,689, and look what it sold for, $1,905. So we always say, you know, condition is more important to buyers these days than location. So when you have something that is adorable, perfect condition, and in a great location, and it was priced appropriately for the square footage, and we always say, let the market take it up. This means there were multiple offers. It went well over asking, but it showed beautifully, and it was just a terrific spot. Okay, so here we are in the 1930s, little brick fireplace. We're seeing a lot of tall mantles today, which is interesting, but very charming, decent sized dining room. So again, the homes that make our buyers' hearts go pitter patter are always the updated ones where even if people want, they might elect to make changes, but maybe they don't want to have to make changes. So the kitchen is just beautiful. Now this is a cape. So a cape style home is basically a story and a half. So even on the second floor, you lose some living space because you have these slanted ceilings. So it's something to think about. So that's why people prefer colonials. There's more, you know, use of the rooms. The ceilings are more consistent. There is nothing like the charm of a perfectly updated cape. Look at how cute the bathroom is. I'm sure once upon a time, there were more bedrooms and they captured one into the primary bath. The shower was a nice big walk-in shower. And a pretty good closet too. The other end of this same bathroom, it's big enough that they have a little chaise lounge in there, which is so cute. Another great feature, this screen porch is so amazing. It looks out over the brook path. You're surrounded by trees and it's screened so you don't have to worry about the bugs. And there's a fireplace. This house was so high on charm, it drove the price up. And of course, 2024 was a very hot market, even with interest rates being high. I'm not surprised. I mean, like even 1.9 is a lot for the space. That the price per square foot makes it a pretty pricey house. This house at 20 Colburn Road was listed by Douglas Elliman, my own company, by my good friend Susan Bevilacqua, and she actually sold 2 houses on Colburn this year. And this was the smaller one, and this one was so high on charm. So Colburn Road is in Wellesley Farms, which is a very nice area, kind of in firs that has more trees and larger lots. You can walk to the Wellesley Farms train station. It's the most eastern side of Wellesley, so you're close to Newton and it's the shortest ride to Boston. This house was super cute. It's a pretty small lot, so it's less than 1/4 of an acre, about 3,200 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. This is also built in the 30s, so again, we're pushing out of Victorian into arts and crafts era, but interestingly, they had an off-market offer for $1,950, and Susan kept telling the sellers, she's like, I think I can do better. I know you might not want to go through the pain and suffering of listing it, but look what happened to the market when we actually exposed it to all the buyers. She ended up getting over 2.1. So the original price was $1,975, and it was actually kind of a long and narrow lot, but it's got a stucco finish. There is a garage, which you'll see, there it is. It's tucked behind, nice and shaded. So this lot is pretty darn small. You're not going to get much, but very high on charm. I love the curve of the door and this beautiful fireplace in the formal living room. And look how sweet this is. I love the beamed ceiling, the French door looking out to those original windows, just gorgeous. And again, the decor really brought this up to the next level. I mean, the furnishings of this owner really were part of why it sold for so much too. Like, it has very tasteful wallpaper. This is an original light, and look how cute this is. You know, some people might want to rip them out and make it look kind of more contemporary, but a true appreciator of antique homes wants to keep these corner built-ins with the glass on the top and the cabinet on the bottom to hold on to all your beautiful china and crystal. And the kitchen was nicely updated. renovated. You've got a giant Wolf professional grade range, nice blinds, nice custom cabinetry. I can tell it's custom because it goes up to the ceiling. It's very tastefully done. Open to this peninsula sitting area too, which is so nice. And here's another version. So you have a nice open kitchen with the peninsula plus the dining area. And look, they keep their coffee pot over there. So you just want to grab your cup of coffee, go out the French door to the backyard. So here's a photo of the primary bedroom. It does have this sitting area. Sometimes bedrooms are hard to photograph, and none of these are particularly exciting. Here we are on the 3rd floor. How cute is this? But as you can see, this is a queen size bed. This room is not that big, but for the purposes of a guest room or an office, it's pretty charming to be up there with the little window in the end of the gabled roof. You can see there's plenty of place to put a desk. And the lower level had a nice, almost like your own theater. So you can watch TV, watch a movie, and if you want to make it a little more formal, you could fill in the ceiling, but plenty of space to send the kids to go play. And here it is from the back. So not a lot of grass, but this is a kind of person who doesn't want a big yard. You want the convenience to town and train, the charm of the backyard, but that's really all they're looking for. Not a lot to mow. So there were 4 of my favorite antique homes that sold in the summer of 2024. So I hope you enjoyed that peek and commentary. If you are thinking about moving to Metro West, please reach out. I have lots of videos on different towns, different areas, so check them out and let me know if you have any questions. And see you in the next video, and thank you as always for watching.